my question to the Supreme Court, what exactly am I going to say to those 100,000 children who were born here and whose parents are on CPS and can be at any time deported? What should be my answer? And my hope is that you have a child. If you don't have a child, you have a nephew, you have a cousin, and you know how deeply connected parents are to their children. And for you to sit on this highest Supreme Court desk and make such a terrible, horrible decisions, to me, this is not acceptable. And I think this is the time for all of us, this entire country, need to stand together and to say enough is enough. This is not acceptable. This is inhumane. So now my question to the Supreme Court.
And all I'm saying is that there's a million ways to skin a cat. But if you feel that compelled to go out there and you feel like you have to do something, at least do it the right way. And don't put yourself in a situation that you're going to end up possibly regretting for the rest of your life. And as someone who's lived a life where I've done things in the past impulsively, you can always dig yourself out of a hole, but sometimes it's unnecessary to have to dig yourself out of a hole. And it takes a lot longer to dig out of it than it did to fall up in it. That's all I'm going to say. But yeah, that's my little 2 cents for the day, because I understand the emotion, because emotions are high for everybody right now. And right now everybody's screaming at each other, but ain't too many people actually listening to each other. And people feel how they feel, and everyone has a right to feel how they feel. And and I'm including myself, it's just not because you feel a certain way doesn't mean that you're necessarily right. However, cooler heads always prevail, but conversations must be had. And we all have to learn to get out of our emotions and feelings and just start dealing with the facts. So that's my 2 cents. Yo, what's poppin'? Y'all already know what it is, and as I always say, it ain't nothing new under the sun. So as you can already tell by the intro, this is gonna have a little something to do with the current state of the diaspora and TPS. Now, I want to frame everything out the gate. What you're about to see is not me trying to poke fun at anyone, but me just trying to take you down a timeline and maybe give you a little bit of different perspective or lens as to what's actually going on and why things are the way they are and why things are playing out the way they're playing out. You know, they say, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. Now, that being said, from the jump with all of my peers, I have been saying the same thing. And I said out the gate, I said, this is what's going to happen and that's how it's going to play out. But I feel like everything I said fell on deaf ears and nobody cared. But what I did see in that was that there was a lot of gaslighting going on and a lot of projecting. Listen, I understand how we all feel how we feel about whatever the topic may be. But we have to get to a point where we can get out of our emotions and see what's being said and what's being done and by whom. And there's one thing that you always have to remember. No matter what society projects through media, no matter what stereotypes may exist, no matter how you feel about Black Americans and our culture or lack thereof, even though you all emulate it, we are Americans and we are Americans before we are anything else. So when you openly on the world stage start attacking American citizens and saying things that can be construed as terroristic threats, that is a threat to national security. And if you're here on temporary protected status, and for all you who do not understand word etymology or comprehend what's actually being said, I'm going to put the definition of temporary on the screen. When you get too comfortable, you start to do things that go against your own self-preservation. And some people got way too comfortable. And now we're being labeled as xenophobic, right? We're being labeled as the bad Black people when my whole life, everybody told me, I'm not Black, me no Black, I'm not a Nakata, Moyo Maete, everything. We know what it is. And for whatever reason, during this time or age of revelation, the age of Aquarius, we started to realize that what we thought were jokes, because, we love running the dozens and cracking jokes on one another. It's part of our culture. But what we realized is that these things were ingrained on other black cultures from throughout the diaspora, whether it was the Caribbean, one of the 54 nations of Africa, or South America. But wherever they hailed from the globe, if they were highly melanated, in their culture was this open disdain for black Americans. So that being said, I want to explain, and we're going to just take a quick trip down memory lane and understand what all of you have been saying about us after none of you were allowed to actually even immigrate here until after our ancestors fought for the civil rights era, which included immigration from the third world. So when you get on the international stage and say things like, "Oh, we built this country," that's literally cultural erasure of everything that our ancestors sacrificed for. That's a slap in the face. My own union took Juneteenth and framed it as if it was some Pan-African celebration. And now we have people on the continent in Africa and in Brooklyn. We saw celebrations soul to soul as some Asian and Black POC coalition on Juneteenth, when the color of the Juneteenth flag is red, white, and blue, and they all represent and mean something. But that was discarded. Our culture erased and emulated and cosplayed in our face, and then we're told we're stupid, we don't know who we are, and we're dirty. This is dishonest. It's not fair. But to act like it's not happening, because I've experienced with my own peers. And I'm not doing this again to embarrass anybody, but I want to show you what you all have been saying. And when I say these things are happening, it's met with complete silence. I mean, it's so quiet, you can hear a roach pissing on cotton. I mean, it gets quieter than church mice in these conversations. And when I say, well, what would you call it? Matter of fact, they'll be on the screen now, and you can pause and read them. But when I say, if somebody white did this, what would you call it? And it's absolutely nothing. And then we have those of them that are in industries or have platforms that give them a voice to speak for all of us. They decide who's the smart ones and who's the not so smart ones. They're propagating the house nigga, field nigga.
Well, why don't you go outside? That's not my role. There's people who are outside who actually can't do what I do inside. And there is a support that happens. That's what coalition building is, between folks who are outside and inside and folks who do both. There are artists and intellects and scholars who do not need to be in the outside of things. We may not be the most effective there. We might be in the way there. However, we support that work. We are buttressing that work. We are bullhorning that work in ways that work cannot be done. And if in your mind it's, well, they're putting their lives in danger and you're not. Trust me, they will come and knock on your door.
Yep. What's cracking? And as I always start this off, ain't nothing new under the sun. So I'm going to hop right to it, right? What else is there to say? Now, if you get through the actual elegant word salad that she gave you, and let's just pay attention to the facts and deal with what she said. There were artists, there were intellectuals, and it was something else she said. Those are the people that do the work inside. Because the people outside can't do the work that the people inside do. So that's why she's in the house and she don't go outside, because she's an artist. She's an intellectual. Yeah. So if the intellectuals and the artists and the smart ones, the philosophers, if they stay inside, then that means everyone that they're directing and bullhorning that's going outside, that means that they have to be the opposite or the diametric opposition of the people that are inside. Which I find odd, because I know when Malcolm X walked this rock, and even when Martin Luther King walked this rock, no matter how you may look at them, both of them were outside. So according to her, because she's inside with the intellectuals and the philosophers and the artists, they were outside. But the smart people are inside, and all the dumb people are outside. Okay. All right. You know, I have to agree with that, because once I did my own due diligence, because I see the NAACP so much telling my people who ain't been outside yet to go outside and help people who have no legal standing in this country, because it's a law. You have to enter this country through a legal point of entry, or it is a crime. Upon your second offense, that crime becomes a felony. So when you're trying to stop federal law enforcement from doing their job, that's obstructing justice. When you're protesting things that are fucking actually legal, what do you think you're actually doing, ladies and gentlemen? Pay attention. I'm going to say this one time and I'm not going to say it again. I had a dream, right? So in this dream, there was a country that, for whatever reason, the two political parties, further along they got, just became more and more diametrically opposed, right? There was no center line anymore where they came to meet and come to a happy medium. Well, at some point, there came this great, quote unquote, black hope. What the people didn't know is that the definition of black and how the people of this land saw it was that black was its own ethnicity. You see, they weren't actually from Africa. There are traces to that in their lineage, but they were also literally, historically, they were from the land. Their ancestors had been in this land. Some of them as far back as 200 years, some 300, some for thousands of years. Some of them did come through what they call the North Atlantic immigration trade. Yeah, that bullshit. But if you actually look at the numbers, according to this government, the people that came to this land from the other place, it was only between 388 to 400,000 over a 400-year period, which means if there were millions of slaves in this place, and that meant that they had to come from the people that were already there. But no one wants to talk about that. But anyways, I'm getting off track. So in the dream, the great black hope, whose father was from a whole nother place, and his mother was actually related to a people that belonged to one of these political parties. Well, he came up with this thing where anyone that was in this country illegally or a foreign national, it was called the DACA, which allowed these people to stay, go to school, qualify for benefits, and they could work towards citizenship. But it never materialized. Well, about maybe, 8 years later, one of his predecessors came in. This old guy that didn't know where he was at. During one of the political debates, his wife was actually so elated that he was able to even fucking finish or answer a couple questions. She said, "Good job, Joe. You did it." As he walked around like, I did. So yeah, so that individual ended up selecting what they call an anchor baby, who she portrayed to be a black woman, but her mother was from India and her father was from Jamaica, but his parents were from India and Ireland. So though she had dark skin, she wasn't black because she wasn't from the land where these ethnically black people, because they call them blacks because it wasn't the race per se, but it was considered the culture. So, in this place, they had these things called Platinos and Flasians and Caucasians. And this group, they just called black. But that was their ethnic designation because they were the ones that were actually from the land. They were prisoners of war. So she wasn't actually one of them, but because she could look a little like them, she could blend in. So she was born here, but then moved to a whole nother place and then came back as an adult and became the vice president of this place. What happens? I'm going to tell you in the dream, right? The new guy comes vamped. We're just going to start actually enforcing the law. So if you don't have a visa or a work permit or a naturalized citizen or a birthright citizen, stereotype. And they aren't actually black Americans. They come from a foreign lineage. And there's nothing wrong with that. But understand what you're saying when you say what you say and then understand the consequences of that. Because if you pay attention, and I've said this before and I'm going to continue to say it, every time a certain group gets comfortable on social media, shortly after, either they lose TPS or something with Department of Homeland Security and Immigration happens to that specific group. For whatever reason, y'all can't read the patterns, but I've been showing you for the last 12 months. Just go down the timeline. I talk about it 4 to 6 months later. It happens. Maybe we should start listening. But that being said, I want to roll some of these clips right here. And shout out to the original content creator for stringing all these videos together. So I didn't have to do it. Saved your boy some time. I appreciate you. And I will be putting that link in the description. But now we're going to actually watch what's being said on the world stage that everyone else is watching you say when they know you live in our communities. So when we talk about the big bag racist white man, but the people we invited to the cookout are saying the exact same things that the big bad boogeyman is saying, but they live within our communities. They own businesses in our communities and earn their currency from our community, which means basically their whole existence in this country is predicated off of our disposable income. That's usury. And understand that. This is why America has become. But that being said, let's get to this work.
And I'm feeling good. I had to do this compilation of disrespectful videos from these Africans, Haitians, Caribbeans, and Jamaicans while they all cosplay us at the same time. Let's go back down misery lane with these hateful people.
That's slave food. I don't do that, babe. I'm not a slave. I was never a slave. I don't know how slaves cook. I was never a slave. I know where my grandfather came from, my great grandfather, and where all their ass came from. Your ass don't know. You African side they see is more.
I want to use this as a teaching point. All of us were colonized by another foreign nation. That's why your current flag represents the flag of the original nation that colonized your current country. Most of the 54 nations of Africa became countries in the 20th century. We're talking about the 1900s. My son is 26 years old, and he's literally older than a few nations in Africa. So when you say that we don't know who we are, is wild work when they have been keeping meticulous. It's what they call vital records. You see, not just state and local governments, but the federal government keeps birth and death records, and every 10 years we take a census. So everyone born in this country, or once they cross whatever border legally, they're keeping vital statistics and records, which can be traced because it's all public information. As I've shown you my own genealogical line on my mother's maternal side, to which a succession of black women have owned the same land that was bought by a man that moved there in the 1700s. So you tell me how a bunch of black women in succession from the late 1700s up to now, and my mother and uncle still own the same piece of land. But I digress. Hear what you're saying. And just because you don't know the history doesn't mean we don't know the history, because the fact is that the average white American can only trace their genealogy back on this land 2 generations. This is a fact. Most of them don't even know the history. But if you stop listening to his story that was told to you in those textbooks, and you can go to the Library of Congress and look up the history yourselves and actually read the documents that were left by our ancestors and read the true history. When you say we built this country, you weren't here. Black Americans were, as prisoners of war who toiled for free. Read the Emancipation Proclamation that created the 13th Amendment, that gave our ancestors their freedom, and the 14th Amendment, which ratified that made them citizens. And as the federal government's already told you, That amendment was created for the babies of slaves, not for people who come over across a border and have a child here and are using a loophole to become American while they tell us that we're not American and we don't know who we are. This is wild work. And then when we say you're gaslighting and cosplaying us, because remember, we, even when we communicate with you all, we always speak the same way. But when y'all are around us, you speak, act like, and emulate us. But when you're around each other, who you are comes out, the true you. Whatever dialect you speak in, whether it's patois, pidgin, whatever it is. But then you speak your true speak, your mannerisms change. So why is it when you're around us, you have to act like us? You understand what's, I mean, do you see how that actually looks? Because we don't come around you guys and start going, hey, man, wagwan, brethren. It would seem like we were mocking you if we did that, correct? Or am I pulling at straws here? Am I tweaking, as everybody tells me? When every question and what I'm experiencing in reality falls on deaf ears. And then when I say, I feel like these people are gaslighting me. And the crazy shit is that some of them are Black American. That's what blows my mind. Did you forget who you were? But anyways, let's get back to the shenanigans.
Ratio that we're honestly doing well. They just feel like you guys are just not doing much.
Parents are from New York.
Americans, they don't know where they're from, you know.
I think American black people are the most lost black people in the world.
My parents are both from Grenada. They came here in the 80s and 90s. So what he was saying about how they think that black people are lazy does resonate with me because I've heard that a lot.
Don't go and talk to those black Americans though. You just go and get pregnant. You get into drugs. You start become gang banging. Just go to the white community, find a nice place. People just go and be decent. Stay with the white people.
We don't want them, yeah?
They're your brothers and sisters.
They're not our brothers.
You American? Dirty black American?
Why you say that?
Because that's what you are. Dirty black American.
She just said that.
I did. A dirty black American.
Cold chest. I sure did.
Why Africans have this negative connotation on African Americans is because of the stereotypes, what they're seeing on TV.
My father's side of the family looked at.
That's diabolical dirty work. Here you have one of your own outright saying, we believe this because of what they show you on TV. So if we believe, based on what we see on TV, that all you do is let cows urinate on your head and eat monkey meat, would it be okay to push those stereotypes? And I'm not saying that it hasn't happened. I'm pretty sure at some point it has. But you see, what people fail to realize or pay attention to is that a lot of times, you know what? It's going to fall on deaf ears, because no matter what, even when people are responding to someone else's bullshit, it's always looked at as an ad hominem attack, no matter what side it's coming from. So I'm not even going to waste my time getting any further into that. But yeah, as you can see, these are the things that the groups who are losing TPS fail to realize, fail to acknowledge, and fail to address. The problem I'm really having is the number of you Black Americans sacrificing your sovereignty, fighting against removal orders, and putting yourself in between legal law enforcement and a group of people who tell you outright what they see, how they feel when it comes to you. They're not mincing or chopping any of their words. They're saying it with their whole chest, not paying attention that TPS has to be paid for. Who's it paid by? Taxpayers. Who do these people work with? They work next to us. They live next to us. They live in our communities. But these are the things that they say about us. While it's the majority of them. When you actually break down for ethnicity, when you start going through social services and EPD, and you start seeing who's, because they always talk about the dreaded 13%. But if you see who's actually receiving the benefits, it's majority the descendants of either first generation birthright immigrant citizens or naturalized citizens. Yet they're in government now. They're voting against our own best interests. They're creating legislation to send our tax dollars to their home nations that we work for, and they tell us that we're lazy and we're dirty. And they live in our communities. Their children are carrying this shit on to our children. I want to give y'all one thing to think about, right? They talk a lot about our women being uncouth. and having the spirit of the Jezebel, succubus energy, right? And a lot of those things that you talk about is how they sexualize themselves. Well, I have a theory on that, because if you go back to the 60s, 70s, and 80s, I don't remember really seeing too much what we now call today twerking. That was a phenomenon of the 90s. Started in the 90s, right into the 2000s. Actually, it was more of a phenomenon of the 2000s, actual twerking. So we'll start there. Now, you take that back 30 years. Where does that take you to? 1970? 75? So that's what? That's 5 years after 1960. Oh, so it changed, the Civil Rights Act. So what some of these people would consider either some type of spiritual expression or a cultural dance that our women were not doing until their women got here. Now it's uncouth, American, dirty, black American nigger culture. And like I say, I've shown y'all what's happening at my Union 1199, SCIU. And everyone that pulled the coup d'etat on George Gresham are all naturalized citizens. The American workers are the ones that are suffering because y'all see what they just did for your contract. You've been sold out because they always get to go home. I guarantee you, once the feds get done kicking in their door after I'm done doing what I'm doing, exposing what I'm exposing, when they start going through their personal finances and checking remittances, y'all gonna find a lot of y'all shit in them blue barrels. Allegedly, of course. But yeah, let's get back to this.
At black Americans a certain way, and they already had in their mind, whether they said it on social media or not. And we can sit here and make it seem like it's an illusion, but all other groups of black people, which we're all black, we tend to look down on black Americans.
It's just a way to push this stereotype, to give other cultures the green light to be disrespectful towards black Americans.
But you also have to look at the statistics. What is it showing? Like, if I was to be with an American man, just any typical man, 9 times out of 10, I'm probably going to be a baby mama.
I had a conversation with my boy, literally.
I'm not even going to touch that, but we know how women say a lot of the Caribbean. Matter of fact, y'all don't know Dirty Dick Ashby. Is it cultural, or did he learn that when he got to America?
Right before I got here. And then when I got on my phone with my boy, he was like, nah. Think about it, Rich. There's plenty of Haitians who say, vieux salope. In Creole, that means like dirty or bad black Americans.
Why is it so easy for everyone to attack the culture of black Americans?
The thing is, we share our culture with everybody. We're too damn nice.
Welcome to the cookout, nigga.
Because whenever we do something, we say, okay, we chop it up to just global Africanness.
I'm sorry, I can't do Americans. I need somebody with culture. I'm sorry.
Black Americans got culture. Americans got culture.
I need somebody with culture.
Americans don't have culture.
I got culture.
We got the culture. We are the culture. I do have this conversation a lot with Africans or even just Caribbean people who will often look down on black Americans. Number one, they will say they lazy, they ghetto. I've heard African parents tell their kids not to date African American men, not to marry them, things of that nature. What are some negative stereotypes y'all heard about black Americans from your parents, from your friends?
You literally said it all.
Yeah.
That's it?
Yeah, 100%.
Right.
Like my mom would tell me not to marry that.
Yeah.
Right.
She says it all the time.
Understand. I'm not saying it's everyone. Just like all Caucasians aren't racist. All black Americans aren't gangbangers and drug dealers. We get it. But if they're telling us that all of our flaws are ingrained in a creation of our lack of culture that they emulate, or culture, whatever you want to run with, then that means these ideologies and these beliefs are ingrained into these cultures. That's why you heard what they said. All of our parents told us that. So they're passing this down from generation to generation to generation. But our parents, grandparents, and great-grandparents were on the front lines getting ran down by dogs, water hoses, and police with batons and nooses, strange fruit, so that they could have the right to come here and have a better opportunity. And I want you guys to keep in mind, when you say we built America, so you telling me You left where you were at to come here where there was nothing and build all this up for the nice Negroes who couldn't do it themselves for free, according to history. But you didn't build up your private island before you left? And if you did, as you claim now, built this nation that got its independence in 1776, and you just got here 15 years ago, and from 1776 to 1865, my ancestors were, which means they was working for, that's why 30 Acres and a Mule was outlined in the Emancipation Proclamation that granted us our free. But yeah, y'all built it. And everybody's letting y'all run with the narrative as you're rewriting history and then paper and cultural erasure. And, or am I lying? Is this not happening? And all of this is just a figment of my fucking imagination. But we're wrong and we're xenophobic, but this is what we've been dealing with. I've heard this shit my whole life and I'm 49. And through it all, we've always acted like we didn't hear it. And even for the niggas that you see the text messages I put in there that act like they don't see it. We've all had conversations. I've heard niggas ready to go to war because they felt like their mother was disrespected. But now they're all quiet as church mouse. Why? Because they told you in Cuba and during the pandemic how they think of you, and that's how they handle everybody. They wanted you to get herd immunity because they look at everybody like they in the herd. So if you don't follow the fucking herd, you're out of line, and then you get labeled xenophobic just for recognizing the truth. And why nobody wants to have this conversation is fucking mind blowing to me. But let's just finish these clips, and then I'll wrap it up at the end.
There is no reason on this earth for anybody that's not from the Caribbean to be at Carnival. And I don't care how y'all feel on the subject. Yeah, I know, I love Jada Waiter. But what the do her and her American friends know about Carnival?
Some things do need to be private, and they do need to be just to the people who it needs to be for.
What do y'all feel like y'all should do in order to know where you guys come from? Are you guys doing the DNA?
We're telling you.
Vital records and statistics. Dumb.
So you are still enforcing us to have to prove to you that we're black enough or we're African enough. We don't feel like we need to do that.
But y'all all want to be American. Nah, I mean, son.
You are not cultured at all. That is black. You're black. You're just black. You're just fully American. You're African.
You're black! As if there's something wrong with that. But everything that you all do, the way you talk, walk, dress, speak, is black. Everything. Everything. Even the negative shit. You got niggas in Africa gang banging talking about blood and Crips. So in Africa, running around with motherfucking rubber tire chancletas on with colors on banging. But we don't know who we are. But y'all are emulating us in your house. And then when you beg, and what's crazy is if we were so bad, why is it now that every time I hear one of y'all lose TPS, we see grown men knees buckle and they cry in fear because they don't want to go home to what I have a country. Y'all niggas ain't got shit. So why in the fuck are you scared to go there and you're crying when you have to go back? I mean, you think you'd be happy to not have to be around our dirty black asses.
American, bro. That wasn't an insult. That was strictly, you're black. You're not Trinidadian. You're not Jamaican. You're not African. You're not Ghanaian. You're not.
You know why? Because we're the real Americans. And they know that. And that's why they mad and cosplay and project.
Dominican. You're not Puerto Rican. You're not Cuban. You are American.
I farted.
African Americans in this country are the only groups. They have no culture.
But currently, there's not an African American culture.
No, you have no culture. Nancy, you've been here, born here. Why would you be surprised if I say African Americans don't have a culture? What, twerking?
When did we become African Americans? Ask Jesse
Nobody
Jackson.
told you this.
Sell out.
I can't do Americans. I need somebody with culture. I'm sorry.
Whatever. You Americans, just y'all non-cultured ass. Y'all don't even say nothing. Go eat.
I don't like this.
Like, why are you telling me I have to do this because I'm black when it's been already pointed out that I'm Haitian? Why do I now have to submit to this idea of being black? That makes absolutely no sense to me. And that's what you don't get. A lot of people are...
Black Americans came here on a slave boat for slavery in America. You know, when you black them back on that slave.
Again, vital statistics, birth and death records. Over a 400-year period, 12 million Africans were taken off the continent of Africa, and 10 million made it back to land. Of the 10 million that made it back to land, again, over a 400-year period, 388,000 made it back to the United States of America. There were millions of slaves. You know where they came from? They were here already. Yeah. But see, y'all can't connect the dots, and you can't fathom what's documented in history if you just take the time to actually read the truth. Because we all got the documentation to prove it. I mean, just Google Walter Plecker and you can start there, okay? And then Google how the first censuses was actually handled and who they used to take the first censuses and how they were visually deciding what race the person on the other end of that census interaction, what race or ethnicity they were. So you had a bunch of white housewives with an agenda deciding who was Indian, who was Negro. Because back then you didn't even hear the term African American. It was either Indian or Negro. You understand? You could say all Africans are Negro, but all Negroes ain't African. But for some reason, we're the only ones have to have the longest list in history of documented existence, but y'all still don't want to listen to what the fuck we tell you and can prove to you when we tell you who we are. But
Slave boat to Africa and go look for which country in Africa you came from.
Growing up, being raised to be very proud of being Haitian American, there was also for me, as there were for many other Caribbean people or just any other, I would say, immigrant individuals from immigrant populations, this again, when I talked about the racial distancing, don't be like the Black Americans. That was very common that you would hear that. And it's not surprising for me to hear other people talk about when they were growing up, this idea.
I tell people there's a difference between being black and Haitian. Being Haitian is double black to me.
Double black?
Yes.
The fuck does that mean?
Black to me.
Okay, what is that?
Because, let's just say, Black American, to me, not that they aren't black enough, but they don't know their culture so much that they are in a whole power by themselves.
Oh, that's not true, man. Like,
to me, culture-wise, meaning like someone doing Black American, I'm not talking about
because
African
Mama told her that.
Black American, where you from? Dimki what Abduli from.
But what do you mean Black American, African American?
Black American
Where I'm
people
from?
that were born Tennessee.
My mama from Louisiana.
That were born in the United States. Their parents too.
Can't even speak their language.
Her mama was born in Louisiana.
People be like,
And her mama's mama was born in Louisiana. And her mama's mama was born in motherfucking Louisiana.
I feel like Americans, because I mean we in America, so Americans who have lines and lines and lines and lines of family here and they complaining, I'd be like, bro, I don't look at nothing you got to say. Right. I ain't never met my. Y'all sat there and kept fucking up. Each generation, y'all just keep fucking up. Yeah. And don't figure out, okay, maybe I'm fucking up. Look, what's the right way to do this shit? Exactly. And then want to point the finger at.
And we realized the right way to do this is to delineate and disaggregate. So our numbers will be separated from everyone else's numbers. And then we'll prove what culture's doing what. At this point, it has to be done because the disrespect is vile. And the fact that you hide behind your double blackness to act like you're not doing what you're doing or you're any different than the same people that you call white supremacists. Because all of your talking points are the same as the so-called white supremacists. But who funded your life here? We did through the legislation that we fought for and the taxes we pay. But the same people that fund the Southern Poverty Law Center and the NAACP, who are still telling our kids not to go to school to support the POC community and illegal immigrants, all that money comes from the same source. Follow the paper and you'll know who's pushing whose agenda. Yeah. You know, we can't say that out loud anymore at all. They put you on these little lists and then you get lost in the algorithm and shadow banned. And if you know what I'm talking about, it's only one thing. Word to APAC. Yeah. Yeah. But anyways.
White man, black. Oh, the white man did it. No, fuck that. You don't identify yourself as a color. It was always as a nationality. This is where we come from. This is who we are. I was always a Haitian. I was never a black. I was always a Haitian.
But scared to go to Haiti.
Was always a Jamaican. They were never a black Jamaican. You know? So 2014, when I moved to America to go to school, this is when I fill out a form and it says race. I didn't even know the word race had two different meanings until then. So I said
but
race.
We dumb.
It says black, white, Hispanic, Latino, Asian.
He didn't know what race was, but we're dumb.
I'm from Haiti. I'm Haitian.
We're scared to go home.
Africans and African Americans do not claim black Americans. We are not the same. African tends to focus on progress, family values, and community upliftment.
So go home and focus on those things.
On historical grievances. They don't live life blaming the white man for all their failures.
So now that you've lost TPS, but you're blaming black Americans, but it was because of your own doing. But who's rounding you up? 50% of Border Patrol and ICE or what? Hispanic and Latino. 16% of that is what? Naturalized citizens of a African background, which is either from the Caribbean or one of the 54 nations. I've shown you the statistics on that before. So while y'all shitting on and saying we ain't got no culture on who the fuck we are and we lazy, it's your own people rounding up your own people for talking shit about the people who invited you into their house and invited you to the cookout, but you didn't know how to motherfucking wipe your feet on the goddamn mat before you stepped through the door, and then you put your foot on my motherfucking coffee table. But who's dog walking you? It ain't us. It's the white man. They're the ones that signed on the dotted line to remove the TPS. Like y'all say, we ain't got no control over that, so what the fuck you mad at us for? The people that you love so much. Stay away from black Americans. Go to the white, go find the good white community. They don't want you there, stupid. So since y'all are openly shitting on black Americans, they're like, this could be a potential conflict of interest, because if we leave them there, they might start terrorizing American citizens. Doesn't matter if they're niggers or not, but they're still American citizens, and we need them because they contribute $2 trillion to the GDP every year. They made the Asians number one. They made the Asian community number one when it comes to commerce because 90% of their buildings are in the black community. So we got to keep them niggas safe to some degree. So if these naturalized citizens and their children keep violating, you know what? Fuck it. Send them home. But y'all aren't clocking what the fuck these people are putting down, and now you lost in the sauce and getting dog walked. Don't be mad at me. I'm just reading the patterns and translating and deciphering the message and delivering it. But I've been doing it and nobody ever wanted to listen to me. Now here we are. The villain arc.
Challenges or the choices that they make.
Happy Black History Month to everyone except the foundational black Americans. I hate you niggas. I hate you niggas. Let's die. Ooh. If I could gather all of you in one place with a strap to my chest. Ooh. If I could gather all of you in one place with a strap to my chest. You know what time it is. We're gonna have a party. We're gonna blow up the spot.
Imagine if a black American, whether on vacation or as an immigrant, immigrated to Sudan or Uganda or Nigeria, South Africa, Trinidad, Jamaica, Venezuela, anywhere else, and got on the internet and said, yo, I can't stand you motherfucking local niggas. Y'all motherfuckers is pussy. You know what? If I could, I'd strap a motherfucking bomb in my chest and blow all you motherfuckers up. How do you think that would turn out for that individual? Matter of fact, what do you think would happen if en masse a bunch of black Americans started immigrating illegally to y'all countries, and the children we had became citizens, And then in the next generation, they join government as elected officials that our people vote for and say, nah, fuck them niggas. They ain't getting no reparations. We gonna give it to our cousins that we just imported in the last administration. Fuck them niggas. What do you think would happen? Billie Holiday wrote a song about it. It's called Strange Fruit. But see, we're actually way too nice. We're so fucking nice that we stop believing in self-preservation and aligning ourselves with people who refuse to align with us. And they've openly told us they didn't want to. You heard the first 4 presidents of LULAC. Fuck them niggas. And you hear what these people have been saying to us for generations. Because since 1965, they've been pouring in. And every year, more and more of them come. But this is the attitude that's ingrained into the cultures that they bring with them into our house and into our communities. And then when we say, yo, chill out, that shit ain't right, they act like we motherfucking brain fried.
More like me. I'm doing society a favor. But yeah, everybody else, happy Black History Month.
Parents are from New York.
Americans, they don't know where they're from, you know.
I think American black people are the most lost black people in the world.
Like my mom would tell me not to marry that.
What a whole American nigga starter kid on.
Americans are racist towards Africans. And yet, you always say, oh, we all African, we all African, we all African. No, we are not.
We're racist.
I'm African, and you're Black American, okay? Most of y'all blame us for everything, how we come to this country.
So why y'all black all of a sudden when the government getting on your ass, now you black though?
Have not accomplished too much. You're stuck on welfare all day. You're complaining for everything, and yet you guys are hindered everything, but yet complain.
I hate them. I hate them. End of story. Working along. Not today, not yesterday, not 20 years ago, not 100 years. We've never gotten along. We don't get along. All I'm saying is that stay in your lane and I stay in my own lane. I don't have any interest or desire to have that kind of relationship that I know will never. Your ancestors just throw over there unalive like a lucky, like a chicken, ready like unalive. That's your ancestors. Your ancestors never did shit.
You mix with Irish. Look at you. You mix with the whitey Irish. You understand me? I don't mix with nobody. I'm 100% African.
Woo!
The place you come from.
Talk that shit, mama. Yeah. Tell these niggas how you feel. Maybe they'll wake the fuck up and tighten up. Start standing on ground for their sovereignty and stop being a bunch of fucking punks.
Witness and understand what apartheid means firsthand. I'm gonna be right here watching and laughing with my crew. We're gonna be right here. You know where to find us. African sisters were like, yeah, I think I'm African.
Yeah, we better than you niggas.
I hate them. Children, they're either doing cracks or they're doing drugs or they're doing nothing. Most of them, they're maybe in the bunch, but the majority of us, we're Cosby. And all we've been trying to do is push peace. Yes, we have some ignorant ones in the bunch. Yes, we have some ignorant ones in the bunch, but the majority of us, we're Cosby.
No, hold on. You walk out and I get pow. At least you walk out the house and don't worry about a man getting, on the line. Out loud. It's okay, guys. They come home. Your men need to come home.
Police brutality funny to these niggas.
High school dropout with 10 baby mamas. I'm pretty sure your baby mama's on here right now. Trisha, it's fine. They're gonna put all the black people in camps. I'm telling you, I swear. They think like they're so special. They're cockroaches.
They're gonna put black people in camps. Now I remember when the Venezuelans and the Hispanics, when they first lost TPS and started on that line, and you heard a lot of blacks from the diaspora say, no, that's racist. But now they're saying it. And it's been said to me by my own people. It's been said to me by my own people. And I'm like, yo, that's why I say I realize people don't hear what they say and they don't see what they do. Because most people run on autopilot. But if you let people talk, they'll tell you exactly what they think and how they feel. You just have to listen to them and believe them when they tell you and not convince yourself of something otherwise. They saying it with their whole chest, but y'all niggas still out here fighting for this shit? But I'm wrong for showing you. I've shown you what's happening in the union. I showed you what the whole system NYU has set up. And understand that whole system with NYU and the union, that's not an attack on black people. This is to undercut and undermine American workers. Let me tell you, I was a delegate. The white people are dealing with the same exact thing in this motherfucker that we are.
They don't have no jobs. They don't work. They don't.
And I say that because, as I've shown you, I got the receipts to prove it. I'm not saying that there aren't differences. But let me tell you, them motherfuckers is getting dog walked too. And the people that are doing the dog walking are the visitors. I've shown you the footage. It was me that told George no. Oh, we have a saying in Jamaica, we don't run things, we run things that don't run we. And that's the president who lied. What George Gresham was doing and set him up and used Politico to do it. Who owns Politico? Follow the paper trail. The same people that paid for the NAACP and LULAC and the Southern Poverty Law Center. Word to...
I know you lying.
Whole sassy ass nigga talking to her. Look, this is why her word.
I don't know what it is about that shit, bro. Like, mind you, I can cook, right? But that ain't, like, nothing beats. You know what I'm saying? If you're not disciplined, bro, Twain, don't get your own apartment. I don't care what y'all say. Atlanta really like fire. Like, when I say Atlanta got like,
it's that fire.
I say top 5, like Skyline, City Line. Mind y'all, this is not the Skyline. This is just the Beltline. But like, the city really fires for it. I didn't know that. I can do that too. I can, do my hair like this. Yeah. But when it comes down to like my mindset, I know. Like, that's the way I was raised up. I'm not telling this lady, oh, why you calling me a cat?
Nah, you know what I'm saying? Real talk fan, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, fan? Like real talk chat, Atlanta top 5, nigga, you know what I'm saying? They got the Skyline and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like Atlanta 5. Muma, no, I'm not a can't. I'm gonna do my hair like this because we are go on. But when we say y'all cosplayers, you say we're being xenophobic and that we're being hateful. And then listen to his rationale of why he shouldn't be offended because, and this is how you know, they play us because they ain't us. He don't care that she said some wild disrespectful shit to this motherfucker because I ain't one of you niggas. I know who I am. I just act like you when I'm in public because it gives me clout.
Why am I doing that to her? Why am I being the akata that she's calling me? No, she just said I look like an akata. It's not like, she just said I look like an akata. I said, okay, I'm not an akata. Like, so I'm not gonna like be rude back to the lady. Some of y'all talking about something like, bro, we gotta stop this shit, bro. You gotta defend that shit. You can't let a girl, like, you can't let a lady call you. Why am I calling it? Why ages or why am I having, like, why am I going back and forth with the older lady, right? It's okay, she called me an akata, and so
black, I'm African. What was the difference? No. It's a big difference. You know what I'm saying? I came in a plane, they came in chains. Yeah, I'm passenger in their cargo.
Let me say that again. I am not black, okay? Hear me out. They are forever cosplaying us, right? But we don't have no culture, though.
I think the African American community share a lot of similarities with South Africa. The soul music is straight from South Africa, and you cannot tell me otherwise. Have you heard South Africans sing? Have you seen the body of South African women? Like,
can we hear it?
It's like
let's hear y'all sing.
South African women, they mirror South African culture.
Let's hear your Whitney. Let's hear your Whitney. Let's hear your Beyonce. Where your Beyonce at?
Any other African
Since we emulating y'all.
I think slaves came more from West Africa than the Southern Africa, but who knows? But I think South Africans have a lot of more cultural influence on African Americans than any other country. True. To the left, to the left.
Everything you own in a box to the left, in the closet. That's my stuff. Yes, if I bought it, say, don't touch. If you didn't miss, that's fine. Could you walk it to get the same timing? It's my name that is on that mess. So remove your bag so I can call you a pimp. I'm standing in the yard, see, and he's telling me how I'm such a fool. He's talking about I will never ever find a bra like him. Yo, I was lekker op zijn kop gevallen. You must not know about me. You must not know about me. I can never love you in a manner.
in Africa. If this meet your consent, since the black American want to go to war, let's try, let's see. All of us, let's call out one day from work. All of us across the United States. All immigrants call out from work. Yes. If they want to go to war, let's see what they can prove. And also, all immigrants, like your businesses from all black Americans. Simple as that. Don't let them go into your grocery store. Don't let them go into your restaurant. Don't let them go into your salon. You want to go to war? We will. And also, we can
It's not us.
all our African
It's you.
boycott all black Americans.
And you're projecting your hatred at us, on us, acting like we're the problem. We didn't start doing this shit. Y'all chose to project to the world, and now you have to suffer the consequences.
Because I can tell you, in this fight, oh yeah, the Puerto Rican gonna join us. Oh, in this fight, the Mexican gonna join us. I know you lying. So you on your own. You are on your own. And in fact,
Is that so?
most of the people that do breeding
Who crying right now?
Mexican and Puerto Rican.
It ain't us.
Not black American. Like I said, you on your own. This is the reason why you're black American. You don't get along with Puerto Rican. You don't get along with Mexican. You don't get along with Chinese. You don't get along with Indian. And you also don't get along with the white team.
But you know what's funny? Everybody's getting removed but us. Even some of the white tees that don't belong here going home. So it don't matter because we got what? Genealogical paperwork that ties us to the land. That's why the 14th Amendment that was created for the babies of slaves protects us under the law. Just because y'all was using that loophole to play in our face and somebody came along and started standing on the law. Don't get mad at us. You created this. Now you gotta deal with it. These niggas won't say it out loud, but I'll whisper it to you. Maybe now we can talk about it. But until we do, this shit ain't gonna stop and y'all motherfuckers is gonna continue to get dog walked. Yeah.
You have an attitude problem.
FBA cannot answer what they control in America because the answer is they don't control shit in America.
So why you mad at us about TPS? We can't control shit.
In America is these goofy ass sayings, these clock it, and you know
Girl,
it's T when you
shut
see
the
your
hell
two
up.
fingers touching. It's FBA's in my comments telling people, oh, that's not an American term. That's not a Haitian term. That's an American term. You guys don't have no control over shit in America. I wanted to start by readdressing the reason why you felt the need.
So, what do y'all have control over? Because I know one thing that we do control. We can't be removed. We're not relying on TPS and the blood, sweat, and tears and equity of a whole nother group as we systematically try to erase their culture and replace them by emulating them and talk shit to them and dog walk them in their own fucking house when we were invited as guests. Can we have this conversation? Or are we still going to avoid the truth? The elephant in the room. Asking for a friend. Because I know how much I've been gaslit and played with. Like, I'm really fucking lump. And it's to the point that I'm over the shit now. I don't even care anymore. But I'm going to continue to show you what I'm seeing. Because I try to tell you, save yourself. Don't do this shit like this way. There's a million and one ways to skin a cat. I said that months ago. When I told y'all, just like the PPP loans, they was going to spin the block. Now they're spinning the block, and I tried to warn you niggas. And I'm going to tell you what's going to happen from this point, even though you're not going to believe me. Once they finish rounding up, because of Ilhan Omar and all the shit, and the Democrats, when we get power back, we're creating legislation for reparations for illegals. They're going to push to denaturalize. They're going to end up changing the laws where you can't run or be elected in public office unless you're a birthright citizen, probably at least a minimum of 1 to 2 generations in after this. Mark my word, it's coming. It may take a few years, but it's coming. But I showed y'all when they started process for the denaturalization of those 17 naturalized citizens tied to fraud and other things. They're going to start denaturalizing people. And the first place they're going to start looking is for people's reactions and interactions on the net. You about to get your ass caught up in the net.
To make this video about me is because I'm asking, what do you guys control in America? And the answer is nothing. So now
We control our sovereignty.
what you had to say about me.
We get to go home at night in America and not have to worry. We don't have to look.
In America, which is the native language of America, is cosplaying anybody. That's number fucking one. Number two.
We never said that. But you see, when you have your own, because all AAVE, African American Vernacular English, or Ebonics, all that is our version of patois, pidgin, same shit, right? Broken English is all it really is, with some slang thrown up in there. Is it not the same thing? But for some reason, that is an official language to y'all, but ours isn't. When we can speak in code around many different groups and they'll have no fucking idea what we're talking about. But you see, we have something that's been lost because we started folding in the flock. But if you've never heard of Tutnese, go look it up. Tutnese. Anyways.
I was born in America. All this I fled. We fled. There's people who are born in America who have different cultural backgrounds, but because FBA,
we know that.
You guys as a whole are very inexperienced people. Y'all don't seem to think there's people of different culture background that were born in America. I was born in America.
So says the woman that belongs to the group of people that don't actually know the history of America, and then they want to tell us who we are. You see the projection? People don't understand that most people who run on autopilot or who are stuck in survival mode, known as that red chakra, procreation, sustenance, and shelter, those people, they can't see anything else. And what they do is they project what's inside of them, because you are the universe and the universe is you. So they project what's inside of them outwardly to everybody around them. So everything that they say about us, because if their cultures were so great, if they had these moral high grounds and all these ethics, why did they run away from home to come here and build America? But they didn't build a house before they left. Because I was always taught to take care of my house first. As a man, you take care of home and the house first. But y'all ain't in the house. The house ain't got no running water or no electricity. There's trash everywhere. Motherfuckers is literally, yeah.
Okay, I didn't flee anything. Okay? And as far as the whole fleeing and why don't we build our country up, some of us didn't come here in bad circumstances, girl. Some of us came here. A lot of people came here for an experience. It wasn't because it was a bad circumstance. A lot of y'all want to think it was this horrible condition. No, the fuck it wasn't. Then the whole, why don't we go back to Haiti and fix it up? I have started a business regarding the waste. I pay attention. I noticed that all you FBAs kept saying it's dirty, it's dirty, it's dirty, it's dirty, dirty. Even before you FBAs were saying it's dirty, I pay attention. I started I have a whole waste company business that I am boots on the ground, because guess what? In Haiti, Haitians control every fucking thing. Y'all talking about what do we control? We control the government, we control the food, we control logistics, we control airplanes, we control who coming in and out, Haitians control who coming in.
So they control everything in Haiti. Haiti got the liberation from France. We know the history. But because of what happened during the revolution, they were forced to pay war crimes. They're one of the few countries that's actually paid war crimes. And they paid billions of dollars. They just finished paying them in like the early 2000s, that they finally paid off that debt to France. But you control everything, but yet have fucking nothing, and everybody got to run away. Why? Because your politicians don't give a fuck about your people. Because since y'all control everything, and you prove exactly what I'm saying. If Haitians are in control of Haiti, why does Haiti look the way it does? And why did y'all have to run away and come here? And then as you came here with an attitude and played in our face.
Don't just stand there like a statue. Clean this juice off my floor.
His mother-in-law.
In and out. Haitians control who's coming in and out.
Girl, just stop. If that's the case, then why are these Haitians crying in the video? Because TPS has ended and they have to go back home.
The Supreme Court's decision rippled through members of South Florida's Haitian community gathered at Miami City Hall to protest the city's agreement with Immigration and Customs Enforcement.
All of these battles are intertwined.
My people, they can't go back. It's real. The reality in Haiti is real.
In a 6-3 vote, the Supreme Court gave the Trump administration the green light and temporary protected status for more than 250,000 Haitians.
There is no grounds for terminating Haiti TPS based on the country conditions inside Haiti. This is absolutely absurd.
But with the State Department level 4 do not travel advisory,
But they control everything. So why are the conditions the way they are? Why aren't they controlling
they describe
their environment?
To the gang-riddled nation like a death sentence.
I would not say we would.
Oh, because they can't control their
We're gonna
people.
stick together. We're gonna keep on fighting.
I mean, they're in control of everything, but they can't go home.
Of the Haitian community.
They can't go home. They're in control of everything, but they can't go home.
Fear of what that means. Family separation, deportation, and those are the realities.
But you control it, so fix it.
Been in this country, calling the United States home for the past 10, 15, 20 years.
But they claiming they built this motherfucker and got here 20 years ago.
Caregivers, attorneys,
Woo!
taxi drivers, the immigrants who keep these United States of ours moving. Today, the Supreme Court sent a blow to the community, to all immigrants, but we stand firm, undeterred, strong to let the community know and all immigrants know that we will not be defeated.
You don't have no shit in the, and that's why you guys, instead of them saying, yo, we don't control nothing, let's get our boots on the ground and figure out what we can control, y'all making videos trying to bring me down and talk shit instead of
She's on the video though, right?
own in America.
Talking shit.
What do you own in America?
And about to get sent home.
The Haitians that I know, we are putting our boots on the ground and we are fixing our country. There are hella nonprofits, businesses.
And that right there should let you know what they're doing. They came here to take resources out of our community to fix their home. Because all those nonprofits because nonprofits are run off of what? Grants, donations, tax dollars from American people. Some of them may be some of you. So when those NGOs and those nonprofits are getting all this money, like she said, they're investing in the infrastructure. But when people tell you who they are and what they're doing, you better start fucking believing them. And you better start reading these bills and learning these laws so you can understand what they're really doing with your money.
Organizations created in the name of fixing our country. So I'm not sure why we don't go there and fix our country. All these people on my page, most of the people on my page are people who are doing stuff to fix the country. What the hell are you talking about? We go back to our country and fix the country. You're about to see a new international waste pro being brought up in a minute, bitch. Thanks to me.
Thanks to her.
Haitian American.
Bitch.
Putting boots on the ground. Controlling the waste problem. Yeah.
But they mad we're not outside helping
Our
them.
hands are actually controlling that.
This is why those of us with the eyes to see are minding our business, because this ain't our fight.
And that's why.
And you're disrespectful.
Answering the question.
But we're xenophobic.
Wanted to try to make it a problem that I'm in America, baby. I was born in. What now?
And you about to lose that too. It's coming.
Yeah, you don't control shit in America.
Y'all know I had to gather her. This Haitian American girl is a perfect example of somebody living off the comfort of America while spitting pure disrespect at foundational Black Americans as a whole. She got her nerve to be on camera bragging that FBA don't control or own anything in America. Talking like Black Americans are just goofy spectators in a country we literally helped build from the ground up through slavery, labor, culture, and political struggle. Whew, child.
Not one lie told.
The receipts say otherwise. There are millions of Black-owned businesses across this country, employing over 1 million people and contributing billions to the U.S. economy. Black people absolutely own land, homes, companies, media platforms, ministries, and organizations in America. She keeps repeating that Haitians control everything in Haiti: the government, food, logistics, airplanes, the borders, while pretending FBA have zero agency here. That's fantasy talk. If Haitian...
And what's funny about that, and after this, we'll close out. She said all that and said it with her whole chest. She did. And she's right. They do control all of that. But if you actually control all of that and you build something so great, why are all of you trying to go somewhere else? Because when I see what's being said by your Dominican neighbors, I mean, their version of Department of Homeland Security, they have their own TikTok page where they document chasing y'all around like dogs. Hey, Moreno! And damn sure ain't Americans. It can only be but one group of people. It's a pattern I'm seeing. Stone cold pattern. But hey, it is what it is. I digress. But until this is addressed and people act like they see what's going on and stop playing in everybody's face and the gaslighting and just... it is what it is. It ain't nothing else that I can say. It is what it is. And it's going to be what it's going to be. To be honest with you, I think it's already past the point of no return, because things will never actually go back to being what they are or what they were, because people have said so much now, and people have said, they've openly said what we've always known, and the quiet part's being said out loud, and everything that was going on in the dark has come to light. And people still want to gaslight and act like it's not happening, but now that people can be like, oh, okay, you know what, it ain't a joke, and you standing 10 toes down on it, so it's the fucking truth. And so now that people are moving accordingly, now you feel away. And now you're getting tapped on your ass and you're getting spanked, but you're mad at us. Nobody, no one in our community made any of you get on the internet and start exposing your innermost thoughts and what's ingrained in your culture. The Akata, the LIB, Mejora la Raza. Better the race, and all of y'all feel that way when it comes to Black Americans. Well, unfortunately for you, no matter what you want to say or project about who we are and what we don't know, you know, universal law is this thing where they have to tell you. I invite you all to start going into the Library of Congress and going through the official record. Find out what Walter Plecker did and what Jesse Jackson was complicit in reclassifying us. When we became Negroes, that was a reclassification. And then we became African Americans, and that was a reclassification. But now they're including you in that mix, and you think it gives you some type of station or superiority over us when we invited you into our house. But now, because as you say, we have no control, the people with control are now making you pay the price for your actions, and you're trying to skirt accountability. I'm going to close that out just like that, because there ain't nothing else left to fucking say. All that chas and shits, it is what the fuck it is. Good luck.
Voices loud